Oh, you got a Taurus with Scorpio rising. Try to shut me up.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. We're live. Miss Sabrina will be here also.
I'm
Did you
here.
guys see
I'm
the?
here. I'm here. I'm really here. I'm here.
Did you see
What?
the graphic that I had AI create a graphic of the three of us together, and
Mhm.
I didn't. I said three readers, and I said I did card reader, an astrologer, and an energy worker, and
Mhm.
it did it like we were 30.
I
I,
know.
That
I
It's
that
like
would have looked better.
back in the day.
that, no,
I
everybody
bet was
going,
looking
who are
30
they
more
trying to
with
fool?
that.
I know. It's crazy,
Dorothy,
but
I
it
love all
works.
your long hair.
Oh,
Isn't your
yeah.
hair great?
It's very long. It's way
Yes, good
down.
for you. At least
Yeah.
yours grows.
It does. And I don't color. I have never colored my hair either.
Lucky you.
Uh-huh.
I
I
don't
am
color
lucky,
my
but I
hair.
get the wrinkles. I got the wrinkles. They're horrendous. So it's either the wrinkles or the gray hair in
So
my
you just
And
family.
you
you just
notice I
talk
don't
like
have
this,
any of us.
and
I
hold your
don't have
face
any of
up.
us on a close in like camera.
Yeah, I know.
There's a reason.
That's why
Hello,
I'm backing up.
everybody.
I want us to I want us to be able to age without being critical of ourselves.
I
But
do
I don't
too.
know if
I,
that's
you
going to
know,
happen.
Christy Swan's here. Carol's here. Rose Blue's here. Mimi Knee's always here first thing.
Yeah. I've got my I've got my YouTube channel. There you go, open over here. So I'll look over. I don't
Okay,
think I have anybody.
I don't
You
want
don't
any
have to.
distractions.
That was interesting. Sabrina, it's been years since Sabrina and I have even communicated because
Yeah, so you guys,
just life has
you
life.
explain your relationship because I just kind of fell into this by having Sabrina on psychic profiles.
I know, and I met you, Nancy Jean, because back in 2019 and 2020, one way I would get people on my newsletter is, I would take everybody who's new in each month,
Mm-hmm.
pick one person and give them a free, mini reading, and
Right.
you were that person. Just
Mm-hmm.
picked you out of the blue. I didn't know you. And
And and here
and
we
you've told
are.
that story a few times. And so that was whatever, 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember when it was. You know when it was because
It
you
was
started.
2019, and it was when I was just starting to build grids. And I was
Yeah.
talking to you about that because it's when I built. Actually, Dorothy is part of the myth and the legend of my own
Yeah,
personal
I am.
grid.
Isn't that amazing?
I
Excuse
built
me.
the grid, and I asked for it. My intentions that I put it were for my friends and family, and I had a whole long list of people that were included in it.
Yeah.
And I said for us to just get fun, new prosperities, not like millions of dollars falling in your lap, but just fun, new things.
I'd take that though.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah, well, it's foolish me at the
$1,000,000
time. I was doing just great. Anyway, so I put it. I started it up, and the next morning, the first thing that happened after I started the grid up in the middle of the afternoon, the
Yeah.
next morning I open up my emails, and there's this email from this astrologer saying, I pull one email a month, and this is da 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 da, and we need. I mean, guys, this was so old school. We did it over the phone.
I know.
Yeah, and I told her I knew she's an astrologer, and astrologers write down everything. They write down when they do everything because time is so important to them.
Mhm.
Unlike tarot readers, when as y'all don't understand, I came roaring in here because I was late, and then my speakers weren't working. It's been that kind of a day, but um, I I said to her, "When did you pull my name out of your email list?" She pulled it out a half hour after I'd fired the grid up.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that became my proof that the grid worked. The other one that happened that day is I had a friend who'd been looking for work for months in Denver, and she, I said, "Well, I'm going to put you on my list." She didn't know when I built the gritter anyway. The same day as I set the appointment with Dorothy, she called me and she said, "Am I still on that list or whatever that thing you were doing?" And I said, "Yes. Why?" And she said, because I just got 2 job offers. One I can start tomorrow and one starts in a week. And this is a woman who's been working for months.
Fabulous. I love that.
I
So-
know.
Yeah.
Would you like my list, Nancy Jean?
Well, it's really this is sort of, that was the very first grid I ever built, and I still have it. In fact, we can look
That's
at it.
nice.
It's a
And-
pretty one. It's a pretty one.
And it's just a story for just, how people just come into your lives, I mean, Sabrina and I met years ago when wasn't even an astrologer yet. I had just, I'd lived out in New Mexico with my now ex-husband because we were part of the Air Force, and we're out there for years, and then came back to run my family's business. So I took over my parents' flower shop, and our mutual friend Kim Rogers Gallagher was one of the florists there as well, and so that's where I first met Kim. I think it was the spring of '88 or '89. I think spring of '89, and 1989.
A long time ago.
1989. And then she left the flower shop because I didn't, blah, blah, circumstances, things like that. And went over to the YMCA, which is where we met Sabrina. And we both, you and I both learned from Kim Rogers. I just talked to her last night. I talk to her every week. And
Is she in Florida? Where is she?
She's in Florida. Yeah. She's retired in Florida. Yeah. And so she's a little older than me. So anyways, I'm in my mid 60s. And so, and that's just where it all went. That's just, we all became, friends, and we all just did different things together, bodybuilding, competing, astrology, just medieval stuff. It was just like, and that was back
40 years ago.
I was going to say,
I'll say
no,
it out
40.
loud. I'm okay with that. Don't say it out loud.
Back when I was just, in 1990 is when I had just turned 30. I was 29.
You were just a little nymph. A nymph.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the funny thing was, when I had Sabrina on, she said, "Oh, you know Dottie."
Dorothy. You have to call me Dorothy now.
I know you
Thank
as
you.
Dottie, not Dorothy.
I know.
And
Dorothy is
like,
it. Professional name.
Now you're all proper.
It's my professional name.
All grown up. All grown up.
Nobody calls me Dottie anymore. Only my family. That's it.
Okay.
Capricorn moon. What can I say? It's when Saturn back in 2019, Saturn crossed my midheaven. You and I, the thing that this might not be interesting to people. I don't know. We're just going to talk today. Sabrina and I, I'm a Gemini, she's a Sag. This astrology set up, and this is where synastry astrology is fabulous, because the astrology set up, meaning what's on the horizon, those 4 angles that most people will know about: the ascendant, the midheaven. Then there's 2 others that they're there. But Sabrina and I have those exact, like the midheaven career point, because I still have your chart, Sabrina. The midheaven is exact within like 2 minutes. It's both of us are like, what is it?
So your midheaven's 27 Capricorn?
Yeah, it's 27, just like yours, within 2 minutes.
Crazy. What
And
degree of Taurus rising are you?
Yep, I'm getting there. So we
Okay,
both
I'll shut
have,
up.
let me make the point. The point is like we both have the midheaven, the same, which is our career path, right? It's the same zodiac sign. So when it comes to synastry, meaning 2 people's charts or a person and an event, when something crosses a place at the same time, even though her and I are 2 very different people, we're both experiencing the same transit. So we're going to experience similar things. And so my thought is what I wanted to ask was, and I wrote these dates down too, because in 2020, both of us had Saturn move across the midheaven. So I would expect, for me, the profession changed. I stopped doing things in person because of the pandemic, of course, but you, as well as me, we're only 2 minutes apart on the midheaven. 27 years is 2714, mine's 2716. And so happened within minutes of each other. And so in February, 2020, where is it? Yeah, February, August, and November of 2020, there were big changes, and we can sit here and it might be boring or not, but what changes did you go through? I went through the loss of my dad in February of 2020, and then, having to reevaluate. That's midheaven stuff, your parent, your male parent, usually the male parent. And And then my career, of course, changed a whole lot because of the pandemic. Everybody's did, but it really impacted me where I had to really work dropped everything. And you have to really like know what your structure and your foundation is and sure up any leaks or holes and things like that. So that was what was going on in that year. And then Pluto, of course, in 2022, another whole story. So what about you, Sabrina? 2020, were you in similar things? I mean, losing your parent. I mean, I know your family story is different than mine, but my dad died just before the pandemic hit in February. So, that was a whole different story, opposite the home. And of course, Capricorn moon, I'm responsible for all of it. It took a lot of work, but
yeah, well, I have 6 placements in Capricorn, and then, my son's in Sag. So Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter.
Yeah.
Just,
so what about the midheaven though? Because I think the point I wanted to make is just that one position, even though we know, because we try to simplify it for people who don't know astrology. So that one career point.
My whole career path changed in that I've had Pilates studios, and I've been teaching exercise since 1985. So it changed everything. I had to, close my studio. New Mexico shut the entire state down March 19th, 2020, to be exact. Same day when I'm having this conversation in my head with Pluto about how am I going to still stay open? How am I going to do this? Self-employed, no family, blah, blah, blah. Hurt my back the same day.
Of course. Your structure and the foundation. Capricorn rules the bones and our structure and our foundation. Yeah.
Yep. And so my dates are here different than yours, but so mine happened in March. And then by August was when I realized I am not reopening this studio live.
Yeah.
I'm not reopening the brick and mortar. I went March 19th, we closed. That was a Thursday, and Monday morning, the 23rd, I think it was, I opened 100% virtual. So I saw this coming for months, and I'm like, we are so screwed. And so August was when I made the decision that I was shuttering the place. And then I had to find storage. I had to start selling off equipment. And October 3rd, I believe the exact date was when I shut everything down completely. Put some stuff in storage, and I was still working. I'm one of the lucky ones that I actually worked more during COVID than I did not.
Me too.
We didn't have COVID because nobody went anywhere. So
me
they wanted
too.
to hold their exercise sessions online. And so I shut that down. So what happened in 22 to you, Dorothy?
22. So we'll tell people about what that aspect was, because that was the transit of Pluto at the career point. And
on your charts, make that
in our own charts. In our own charts.
They know their charts. That's why you need to go to Dorothy and have her do your chart. So when we jib about this, because all my midheaven's in Virgo, so I'm far away from this.
And so that was the point I started off with, is that when two people have charts that
a lot of synastry, a lot of mix,
the things of the wheel, that the things are very similar, the way the wheel is set up, not what sign they are, not any of that, but just when the wheel is set up, that means certain areas of a person's life is going to be activated at the same time. The best married couples, when I do synastry, the best married couples are those, at least from my perspective, obviously, is the couples that have, like the ascendant, the same sign, the midheaven, the same sign. Because when something big happens, like the examples we're giving here today, when something happens, they are in lockstep with each other, even though we still come at things from a different perspective.
Yeah, that was the key to my second marriage. A physicist, an intellectual, 20 years my senior, raised in England, spent the better part of his youth dodging Nazi bombs in London. And people kept saying, how do you two get along? I mean, and we did. I mean, I had an old Irish friend, Callahan, who said, you two are the two smoothest people I've ever seen together. And after Bill died, I found out, and I knew about astrology. I just was being lazy, but my ascendant is at 28 degrees 38 minutes, and his was at 28 degrees 37 minutes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
All of a sudden it all made sense. No wonder no matter how bad it got or whatever else happened, I didn't say, you're out of here. I'm real good. I'm a Scorpio rising. I'm real good at you're out of here.
You are. And that's why the point I was looking at as far as the midheaven, just because, well, we have the ascendant and the midheaven very similar, but the midheaven is the tightest because, again, Sabrina's numbers is 2714 and mine is 2719.
Yeah, that's
Capricorn.
That's
so career-wise, it doesn't even matter what we're doing for our career. First of all, people with Capricorn at the very top of the chart, right, we're really much better at being self-employed. We're not good employees. I suck at being an employee because I always knew I knew it was better, and I get in trouble, and I get fired.
Yeah, I'm the only boss I could have. Yeah.
Well, it isn't that. It's just, when you work for somebody else, you have to follow all the rules and regulations of their organization, and that's the point. But when a lot of them don't make sense, that's when I have a hard time with it. And I'm like, well, why are you doing that? And
I know that's my last W-2 job was in 2010, I think it was 2010. And it was an insurance company. And I was like, why are you doing it that way? And it was like within 2 weeks I was fired.
Well, they don't tend to fire me. They know that I'm right, and they get it, but they don't change it. And then, I prefer to be self-employed, and that's what I'm good at. But, with the way things are going, I might have to go back to a little W-2 work, but we'll see.
Okay, guys, someone put this in the chat. What's today's subjects? Today's two fine ladies want to bring up. So
yeah, and we have brought it up, and what it is about we started off with synastry and giving real life examples of how charts work. It just came to me when I was waiting for Nancy Jean to show up today.
I didn't realize that, our midheavens were the same. So what synastry is when you compare two people's charts, you kind of overlay them. And when you overlay them at so many points, important points, like if you make an X, you've got the top of the chart, which is public, bottom, which is private, your home. Your ascendant is who you walk in as, and your descendant, you can often project that, or it's who you would be attracted to make it short and sweet. So if you lay someone's chart on top of the other, and like Dorothy, I got to get used to saying Dorothy. Dorothy and I both have the same ascendant. We're both Taurus rising. And it's funny because Nancy Jean is a Taurus. So we've got kind of similar energy this year. And
Isn't that something?
Midheaven is career path. And Dorothy and I have the same midheaven. So Capricorn is the CEO of the zodiac. I mean, Leo always thinks they're in charge, and all the Capricorns are standing back saying, no, you're not.
You keep thinking, keep that thought in mind.
Anyway, so we're comparing, Rose Blue, what happened because our charts are set up the same, even though they're somewhat different. We're comparing what happened at very crucial points in our career path, which was when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And we got hit at the same time, same way, just a little bit different situation. So a hit to that point in your chart means that that's going to change. And when Pluto hits that point, Pluto takes no prisoners. Pluto's like, I'm sorry, we're going to do it like this. And no, you don't have any say so. You go along with it, or you fight and you get thrown to the ground and you lose.
Yeah.
So it's easier to just agree with Pluto and say, yes, of course.
So for me, I actually had a colleague that was not feeling well, right? And she very good. She could read her own chart. She knew what was going on. And so she said, well, I'm, and it was surprising. And it came up quick. And she goes, I'm not feeling good enough to work with clients. So if I can't work with my clients, can I just give them your name and they can go to you? And I'm like, absolutely. And
Of course, thank you.
Of course. But within 2 months, she passed away. And so
wow.
Pluto is about death, and one of the many things, but it's the evolution and the change. And so in that time, in the February, it was right around February 2022, which was the first hit, or it could have been July. Anyways, it was 2022. And Pluto moves slow enough where we have exact aspects in February, July, and December of 2022. But that just means all of 2022, Pluto is a planet. He is, changing and evolving how, at least me and you too, Sabrina, because Sabrina has the same number, how we approach our career. Well, I have this, not all of her clients came to me, and they just had to think about it because they just lost somebody dear, and it took a while, but the way she did readings was very different than the way I did. And we all had to get used to each other. And it was like I had to change the way I presented charts to people because she was a different type of astrologer than I was, even though we give you all the good content you need. But so my whole process was evolving. So in 2022, that's what happened. That's the biggest thing that I know that was going on. And then I had to help my mom refinance the house because my dad did not leave things in a very good situation. And the opposite end of the career is what's going on at home. So I had to help the family home, help do all that paperwork. Nobody else knew about it, blah, blah, blah. So there were two things. Yeah. Two big things. It took a whole year. Yeah. So for me, that's what it was. And your Pluto to your midheaven, Sabrina, what was that
when
like?
Pluto hit 22 of Capricorn, which is my Venus, and my soul kitty Zion, 22 Capricorn, Valentine's Day, 2022, I lost her. That was the single most, and I may cry, devastating thing. It was awful. And here I am, I'm working, staring at a computer all day, which is not my gig at all. Sitting is not my thing. So that happened in the middle of 2021. I bought another house in Arizona. I almost died from Moderna. And then I lost Zion. And it was a lot. And that's what Pluto does. At the end of it, you look back and say, how am I still standing? But if you are still standing, you're like the phoenix. Pluto will burn your shit down to the ashes so you can rise up. My life is 3,000% different than it was from 2020. Right. It's amazing.
Well,
and I keep hearing that Elton John song, I'm still standing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I remember reading it from about mid 2019 until into early 2020. And of course, my voices that talked to me said, in February, you're going home. And I said, why am I going home? I said, yeah, I know I'm going home because I was driving down the expressway at 80 miles an hour. And,
good girl.
Yeah. And it was night. And all of a sudden, my entire car was encased in gray. It was like I'd pulled into a graphite fog or something. I said, what's this? And they said, we're going home. And I said, yeah, and I'd like to get there. Can you do something about the shit on my windscreen here?
It's like, I'm not going home. Not that kind of home. I'm going to.
Yeah, and they said, oh, no, and this is true. I do have a rather checkered past in my being out and about and doing things I shouldn't have been doing. And I actually, they said, we've been driving you home for years, which is at that point kind of true. Not all the time, but there was a period. Anyway, I said, well, what's all this about? And what's the stuff around my car? And they said, it's in the air. If you go out and breathe it, you'll die. And I said, is this the stuff I've been hearing about? And we had not even had the first COVID death in the U.S. then.
Oh,
and
that's interesting, huh?
They said, you're going home. You're going to close the door. And when you get inside, you will leave when we tell you you can leave. And I said, well, I do have reading 3 days a week at the vintage store and the wine bar. And they said, no, that's all stopped.
Nice try. Oh, no, you don't.
Oh, yeah, no. I went home. I went home and I sat and thought about it. And they've never lied to me before. So I thought, so I just called the 2 places I was working and said, I'm going to take a month off. Within a month to that day is when everything closed down.
Yeah.
But what was weird was reading people in 2019 and early 2020 and seeing that everyone's life was stopping, changing, shifting, moving, but I couldn't get an image. It was like one guy, I was at a birthday. It was actually his birthday was on January 12th, the day that those 3 planets met. And this was his birthday party. And I was reading at it, and I looked at him. Well, he was sort of shocked. I looked across the table at him when I laid his cards out, and I said, why haven't you told your wife you've changed all your assets? And he said, don't say that so loud. And I said, well, I'm not going to tell her, but I mean, I always think that marriages go better when we tell each other the truth. Funny me. And he said, it's not that. He said she wouldn't understand, but he was in markets that were about to be destroyed by COVID, by the world stopping. And he pulled all his money out very wisely and put it in other places. And he said, something's coming. I can feel it. What can you tell me about it? And I said, I wish I knew, because everybody I was reading, they're going to completely change. Their whole home life was going to change. Mothers who had children that loved depositing them at school every day,
right,
were about to go through a big change. And I kept seeing it over and over again. And I was like, and they said, is it a war? And I said, no, it's not. And you know what I kept hearing?
Now it is.
Yeah, I know. Now, well, this is something real that we couldn't stop. That could be stopped in a minute. But what it was I felt like I kept feeling like when I would just sort of go through and watch things for fun, this is not a fun topic, but I kept watching documentaries about the plagues.
oh Lord.
And I couldn't figure out why I was focusing. And then once I went home and locked myself down, that really scared a lot of people who knew me, because they're like, what do you know that we don't know? And I said, I don't know. I'm in the same shit with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew in January that it was going to be a mess.
We're going away, yeah.
Yeah, and I had 5 different hand sanitizing stations. And when you walked into my studio, first thing I said, sanitize your hands now. When you're done, you're going to go in the bathroom, you're going to wash your hands, you're going to sanitize on the way out the door. Because, my clients are a lot older than me, and I felt super responsible for their health and well-being when they were coming into my facility. But, that all changed when I had to shut down. But I remember this day distinctly, because I had one of my clients at the house. He was a doctor, and he came at like 6:15 in the morning. I do not do 6:15 in the AM anymore. But I was trying to move one of my machines, which, if you know anything about Pilates, this equipment is huge.
They're huge, heavy.
Yeah, they're 8 feet long, and mine are all solid maple. So as he's there, I'm trying to move one of the, reformers to social distance for that brief period of time. And I'm thinking in my head, all right, how am I going to still bring clients in here? Can I do this? How am I going to shut this business down? I have no money. I'm self-employed, no work, no income. And I'm thinking about, how I'm going to scheme and do this. 8th house sun. I'm behind the scenes scheming all the time. So as I'm moving the equipment, it's stuck. And I'm, thinking, how am I going to make this? How am I going to figure this out? And then all of a sudden, it didn't stick anymore. This was March 19th, 2020. And I gave it a yank. and
Mhm.
me and the equipment went sailing across the room.
Oh.
I landed right on my ass, on my sitting bones. You know, like right now, you're all sitting watching this.
Your
You take your
tailbone.
hands and put them underneath you, those bones. I
Mhm.
mean, I landed on concrete with a very thin carpeting. And as I landed, I couldn't move. And instead of talking to the client, I'm like, all right, all right, all right, I'll shut down. I'll shut down. I get it. You don't have to say it any louder. You
Mhm.
already damaged me. And this is how the universe works. You get that little whisper, then you get the little tap, 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 and then you get the punch in the face when you don't listen.
Right.
So, yeah. And it was, I mean, it was the best thing that ever happened to me was shutting down and changing everything. But, you know, I was being very non-compliant at that
Well, we were
moment.
not. If you're like if you're like me, I don't move easily. I don't change easily, and it's kind of
So
difficult.
it's fixed. We all three of us have Taurus Scorpio across the horizon. Yours is just flipped.
I know.
And Nancy Jean, your Venus is 16 Taurus, your sun is 12. So her Venus is right on your ascendant, Sabrina. My ascendant is 17, almost 18. So
Yeah.
but
So we have
yeah.
this almost the identical setup. But
Yeah.
Well, we're a bunch of crazy old ladies who survived the plague.
Yeah, for real. And you know, one of the things we could talk about, well, we are talking about, especially Pluto, is because tomorrow Pluto goes retrograde for the next 4.5 months. And while, you know, I think hopefully this can give us opportunities because the global environment is outrageous right now. And I don't know, maybe it can give us an opportunity over the next 4.5 months. It's not instantaneous because it's Pluto, but just to really see what the deeper undercurrents are that are going on in the world. I mean, we're already seeing it, but the retrograde I think will help us I think it will slow some things down. So every day isn't a shit show. Every day, well,
every 10 minutes, breaking news.
I know. I don't even know how to explain it anymore.
I graduated in media, in broadcast film, and when I graduated from school, it was if it bleeds, it leads, and that was
right
in the early 70s, and it's only accelerated. It's to the point I just can't hardly listen to any of them. One of the things I was going to tell Dorothy, the symbol for Pluto, for those of you who don't know what the symbols are in astrology, it's like a P with a little edge on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who taught me that that's the Pluto, the plow. It plows through whatever sign it's going through. And I always kind of look at Pluto retrogrades. It's backtracking, so it's not digging up more dirt. You get to work with what it's already plowed over, kind of like.
Yeah, a good point. That's a good way to look at it, because when any of the planets retrograde, that means they're it's just an optical illusion, by the way. But anyways, but the spiritual component of it, or the metaphor, whatever you want, is about drawing back within, going back over information, slowing things down, and giving us opportunities to reevaluate where we've already been. Pluto will go.
I remember my friend Larry saying, he was a Scorpio. He said something so funny. I said something or another was retrograde. And he said, well, what does that mean? It's going to back up and run me over? I said, probably.
It could, if you're not paying attention. And Pluto will retrograde all the way until the middle part of October, back to 3 degrees. And tomorrow, I mean, it goes retrograde at 5.5 degrees. And it will, so it only goes back, 4.5 months back to 3 degrees, 4 minutes. So, 2.5 degrees.
It doesn't move fast. And that's what's so frustrating about it. If you're waiting for Pluto to bring you the great enlightenment, it ain't going to happen like a lamp's going to light up. It's Pluto. Like slow glimmering.
I don't think Pluto enlightens us, but it does in that sense.
Runs you over.
It runs us over. It requires absolute transformation.
I have an astrologic thing I want to talk to you about, Dorothy. On the 9th of June, Jupiter and Venus are conjunct.
I know they are. Yay.
And
Get that
I'm
chart
going
up.
to break last time I did 9 candles, I said, I swear I'm never doing 9 candles again because I have to be on for 9 days. And even if I set them up as premieres, it's a slog, guys. But we're doing it again, Dorothy.
Yay.
We're starting.
I think I heard you say that the other day. When did you say that? Did you say it on
And I've been talking about it a little bit, but I
Okay.
actually got my candles and I got a whole, every candle can be its own color. And it's going to be a wonderful time. And I haven't finished writing the meditation, which is why those of you who will be invited to host with me haven't gotten your letter yet, because I don't know. But what I woke up was in the middle of the night, it said, you're going to do something about that conjunction, because not Dorothy.
It's nice.
Dorothy doesn't do this, but other astrologers have made this such a shit show in the sky that people just don't want to hear about, especially when all the planets got lumped up in Aries. Yeah, they're all sitting there on top of each other, and it's just like when you were small children and there were 5 of you in the back seat of the car.
I know. That's such a good analogy, because Aries is absolute youth, and it is just like that, arguing and that fighting, but you immediately get over it, you know.
Oh yeah, well they moved out quickly. But so we're going to have this lovely conjunction, and I want to teach people where to find it, how to find it in the sky above them, because if it's clear that night, you should be able to see this. And I think that's even more enchanting when you can see 2 of these planets we talk about. You can say, hey, they really are up there together in the sky.
They're in the night sky right now.
I know.
If anybody looks west after sunset, Venus is incredibly bright in the western sky. And it's pretty, she's a little bit north, but not too far north. So in the western sky. And as soon as she starts hitting the tree lines or the horizon, you look up at just a little bit of an angle. Like if you were looking at face of a clock at 11 o'clock from where you saw Venus, and actually that varies. Jupiter's out there. It's not as bright as Venus, but Jupiter is already out there, and you can see it even when Venus is out. You can already see it. They're very far apart, right? Kind of looks like that, and they slowly will come together.
I do the fingers.
You guys need this app, Skyview. Do you have?
Oh yeah, I've got that. I've got one like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have
Stellaria. I'm go through that, but what those 9 days are preparing us for, after having sat through hours of how the world is coming to an end, we're going to talk about how this energy and how it can empower us to have some peace. And the first thought that I wrote down, well, I didn't write it down, I spoke it into my phone, but in the middle of the night when I was woken up and they said, you're going to do this, it was, so much of our spiritual selves have been plowed up, turned over, and ripped apart. Now it's time for us to come and spend these 9 days planting the seeds of intention in that spiritual earth. And these 2 planets are there. It's like the best, I don't know if astrologically it is, but it's like emotionally and energetically, it's the best time to plant your very best intentions and get our heads out of the sewer and get our heads up into the sky. And that's going to be
the astrology of it. So you can consider some of this too. They're both in the sign of Cancer.
Right.
And that happens once a year, because Venus comes around once a year. Right. And so they did conjunct in early degrees of Cancer back on August 12th, 2025. And now, and the reason I know that is because that's part of my monthly forecast. And here's a commercial, if you're in my Patreon tier 4 or 5,
shameless self-promotion,
you get the monthly forecast, and I'm doing it tomorrow night live if you're joining me there. So you'll find me everywhere, just ask. So anyways, back to this on the June 9th, right? They're at 25 degrees of Cancer. And the energy around that, of course, is what we've been focusing on for the whole year with Jupiter and Cancer. Our home, our family, our security, our feelings, our emotions. People are so done with all of the crazy that's going on in the world. Everybody, so many people are wanting to check out, because our nervous systems are maxed, our feelings, our emotions are maxed. And when these two benefics come together, we do have an opportunity to calm our nerves and just to figure out what it is. It's in a waning lunar phase at that point in time. The moon on that day happens to be in Aries,
what degree in Cancer is it?
25.
You wait a couple of days, Dorothy, it will be 27 and on our IC.
Oh, that's true. And
Yes.
and so depending on where it is and what house it's in, will also give you a little additional content. So if you know where that is in your chart, and I know not everybody understands how to do that, but
I know, but
you know, I have some teaching videos. Sabrina has teaching videos on how you can find things.
Don't ask
on
me
that.
how to find things on your chart. I have a little app in my phone, and that's
Yeah,
it.
no, most people
if
do
I-
have the app.
If
Most
I
people
get
do have
lost,
that.
if I do get lost, I call Dorothy and say, "It says this, but it doesn't make any sense."
I know. And in my focus in all of my forecasting, I don't pay, I mean, I pay attention to what's going on in the world and the country because I live here and, I like the democratic environment that we're supposed to live in. And I work at the polls and I do all of that stuff. I believe in all those things. But when it comes to the astrology and what I'm giving you guys, I just want you to understand how it works for you and how you can do it. So I try not to do too much political stuff because it causes too much stress. And so I don't want to do that. But
not only that, it's not like you can't find enough fear mongers out there.
right.
And whether you're reading cards or doing charts or teaching people how to work with stones, I think if what I say doesn't make my whole goal from the time I was told I was going to have a YouTube channel, and it was going to be called Nancy Jean's Garden, and it was going to be called that because it's a place for people to come and sow their spiritual seeds. And it makes me nuts that people that they want to go and live with fear mongers. And I don't think, and I don't blame them. Trust me, there have been days, especially recently, I did a set of readings on something and I went, well, I don't think I'll discuss that with anyone because that just spread.
I know. And if you can't do anything about it, whatever is freaking you out, then you bring it back to you. You bring it back to what you need and what makes you feel safe, what calms your nerves, what gets you out of that place of fear, and just breathe into it and or do something physical, just any of those. We have to bring it all back. That's right. We have to bring it all back to the moment. And it doesn't mean we're sticking our head in the sand. It just means bring it back to the now if you're feeling out of control. And that's the best way to manage this.
Self-preservation.
Right.
Absolutely.
And, Pam Gregory, she said in a few videos ago, she said, Pam Gregory is one of the most positive people I know. She just, keeps the vibe super high. She said, listen, no one is coming to save us.
That's right.
That is true. That is so true. I mean, we don't want to hear that. We want to say that, things are going to change. We're going to wake up tomorrow morning and, all the DC is going to be wiped out, so to speak. But nobody's coming to save us. So we either, wallow in the mud or we keep our vibe high because we don't need any more collective chaos. There's enough. We don't need to add to that pot of stew. We need to stay up here because the more of us that keep the vibe high, it's going to lift the whole vibe, even if there's things that, are out of our control. Thank you, Pluto. But
things can change. I have a friend who disliked the orange person in the White House long before he ever got to the White House. He grew up in New York City. He had a family grudge against him. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And he would just call me and he'd go, you can't bury your head in the sand. Look at this and this and this. And I said, my head's not in the sand. I'm looking at that and I'm still moving on in a positive way. Yeah. And I finally told him I couldn't listen to him talk anymore because I couldn't listen to him being that upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough.
And he would then he just started sending me things in Messenger, and I said, I'm acknowledging that you're sending me this. I'm glad you're still alive, but I wouldn't, that was it. And he called me 2 weeks ago and he said, I think you're right. And I was like,
you think?
It took 10 years, huh?
And he said, "You're right. Every time I open my mouth and badmouth them and get involved in the pain and the agony they're spreading on people and make myself sicker, I make
Yeah.
my system weaker. So if you can't think of it in any other way, and if you have a friend who I can't tell you what to do with your friends, but don't let people pull you into Debbie Downer mode.
No. And again, always just bring it back to you. If you really need to, who says be the change you want to see? It's always out there.
Gandhi.
Okay.
Gandhi.
Thank you. Because it's true, when you feel out of control and like you can't do anything. I mean, my thing is I'm not an aggressive arguer, so I don't like to debate people that's going to stir. I got Mars and Aries in the 12th. I have Mars conjunct Mars the next couple of days, by the way, Sabrina, in my 12th.
Oh, good.
Exercising. I was at the gym this morning for like an hour. Even though I got a bum knee, I did
make it
everything
2
upper
hours.
body. Huh?
You might want to stay there for 2 hours until this passes.
No, I don't want to hurt. But anyways, back in 2020, I went and finally joined the city and just as a poll worker. And I've moved a couple times since then, and I've just go in and I sign up immediately where I'm at, and I'm a poll worker. And so I'm not somebody who's going to go out and door knock for a politician, because I don't trust any of them. I trust some more than others, but I don't. No, but I will help you vote. I will show you. I will check you in. So, and I do those things, and that's what I do, and that's my way of helping.
That's the process we need to acknowledge, is getting out and voting, getting out and participating in your own community. On the day when we weren't supposed to buy anything, unless you're a small business, I used my 5 calls to call all my people and say, I'm at home, I'm doing this, and this is just the beginning of what's coming for you. So
yeah. Are there any questions in here?
Yeah, we got one.
Somebody saying, I have a suspicion Venus and redhead people have a connection. There's no way. Sure. Everybody has Venus in their chart. And so I know redheaded people all have Venus. So there is that.
Well,
my son is a redhead.
You don't have Venus in your chart. I want to know where you were born.
Mars in the first.
What's that, Sabrina?
Do you find that, Dorothy, that Mars in the first house is often a redhead?
Or the sun.
Yeah.
Or the sun in the first house. My child has the sun in his first house, and he is a redhead. Yeah, but
I'm a wannabe redhead.
Huh?
I'm a wannabe redhead.
Oh. I don't care. I got whatever I got,
Somebody's upset that Pluto was made not a planet.
It's so what? We still use it. And it's actually a planetoid. It's
got
no big
a lot
deal.
of planetoids. That gave a lot of them more credence.
And people give asteroids, which have very erratic paths through our solar system. People give asteroids a lot of credit these days too. And they're closer to us than Pluto is, but Pluto is still considered a planetoid, just because it doesn't quite have the qualifications for how it goes around.
Well, if Pluto got close enough to the sun, it would burn up like a comet. That's the biggest problem. Is it's not a planet. I mean, other planets have more planety things that make
more planety things.
Neil deGrasse
Tyson. You know what? All I have to say is Pluto doesn't give a damn what you think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Pluto could care less what you call Pluto, because Pluto's going to do its thing. And Dorothy, you brought up a really good point. That's one of the things that I have noticed that, and I still have the book. It's in New Mexico right now. All these things are coming up that we didn't really use 20 or 30 years ago. Now Ceres is a big deal, and Pallas is a big deal, and Juno's a big deal, and Vesta's a big deal. Those 4 asteroid goddesses. Who did that book on those 4 asteroid goddesses? Do you remember? It's a blue book.
Demetra George.
Okay,
George. Yeah.
So I'm just noticing that all of a sudden these are a big deal. And I mean, if they're prominent in your chart, that's going to, influence you. Like I have Vesta conjunct the sun, and I absolutely have to have a cause. I have to have a mission. I have to have a goal. But I don't remember these being such a big deal 20 years ago.
No, they weren't, because things just change. I mean, and whole sign houses is massive these days, and people, which is they're just different ways of looking at it. But I get it.
when I studied astrology, none of those planets were there. I mean, they were
Asteroids.
there and they knew they were there, but they just didn't use them. Okay, this is a lovely thought. Kindness is a weapon against darkness. Thank you, Natural
Absolutely.
Mermaid.
Yes.
Yes, that is true. That is true. You know, and that's because I'm a 8,000% extrovert. I know that's hard to imagine, but one of the things that I've learned over the years of becoming finally a grown up, it took me a long time, is I try to stop myself before I'm going to open my big Sagittarian mouth with Mercury square Jupiter. I try to stop and say, all right, you're going to be nice. I know this is pissing you off, but you're going to be nice. And that is so true, you know, especially when you have to make a phone call for something that's not working out in your favor and you want to just, I start to say, well, I'm not very happy about this. So if I yell at you, I apologize in advance. You're the company representative. So I got to yell at somebody and it gets to be you. So, you know, they kind of laugh out of the gate, but that is very true.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like any of that kind of stuff. It stresses
Yeah, I don't.
me out.
I mean, I'm a bull, and I'm supposed to put my head down and charge at them and run them down with my horns, being a Taurus. But I really, I don't like confrontations. But there's
but your moon is Cancer, and so you're sensitive. You know,
I'm a softie.
You are. You know, you have a Cancer moon, and the Scorpio rising can be quiet and deep as well. But that I'm just looking at your chart. So yeah, Mercury in Gemini. That's nice.
Yes, that's my mouth.
Algol is another.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Algol is massive. I mean, it really is. It's a constellation and a fixed star, and it barely moves. I mean, 100
the
years
head
it
of
might.
Medusa.
And real people should understand the real story of Medusa.
She was really pretty. She got screwed. They made her ugly. Yeah, I did a whole show on Medusa, and I showed all the images of her.
Yeah, well, she wasn't. I can't say that word on here, but you know, she wasn't treated well by men, and and then she was.
I'm looking for this picture of Medusa that I happen to have. Which is it's really cool. I took it in New Orleans, and I think it's a pretty cool image. Can you see that?
Ooh, yes. Beautiful.
Yep. Nice. That's a good one.
Well,
I know that, and so Algol is definitely the point. If wherever it is in your own chart, I can't remember where it is.
Isn't it in Taurus right now?
I don't know. I really cannot answer that question because I use the 10 planets, the nodes, the lunar nodes, and Chiron. I will put Chiron in there because that was the first asteroid that was accepted in the astrology community, and so that's all I use because there's so much to already talk about. When I look at people, they'll come to me with their charts from astro.com or whatever, and it has every planet, every asteroid, and it's it's so full. You can't read it. It's so full. You can't read it. It's like no wonder you get confused about trying to understand your own chart.
It's at 20. Algol is currently between 26 and 27 degrees of Taurus.
I thought it was right on Taurus because it's on Dumpster's midheaven.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's conjunct. Well, it was conjunct Uranus. Now that Uranus is shifted into Gemini, but it's right smack on his midheaven.
He's got some serious problems in his brain. He's got some dementia going on there, so his brain is not doing well. So that's the head. But
that's his excuse. What about the people around him?
I was just going to say that, Nancy Jean.
They're taking advantage of it. They're taking advantage of it.
So they're letting him run wild at the world's expense.
Yes. Quick things going around the room. What you got coming up, Sabrina, that people might want to know about? Do you have a weekly show you do? Or just pop in? What do you do?
Well, I often do a video on the new moon or on the full moon. And most Fridays, not every Friday, but most Fridays, I have a different person come on my channel, and I call it Feel Good Friday. And we do all positive affirmation card draws. So if you're in the chat, and I just write down everybody's name, and you all get a card draw from myself and whoever my guest is. This Friday, it's Nate from the Third Wish, and he's in Portugal. If you don't, you're on with Nate. Nate, yeah, I have his
Nate
cards.
sent me his deck and the book that goes with it.
Nice.
It's a tarot deck of saints.
Yeah, he's also a Scorpio rising Taurus.
I know. Oh,
So,
our charts are really close, but he's younger than I am.
Yeah, but sometimes that doesn't matter. Like I said, if you work hand in hand in something, you're both experiencing the planets moving through at the same time, so the same categories, even though you will approach it.
Nathan on Friday, and people should look. If you don't belong to Sabrina's, the Tree of Life Inner Guidance, go over and subscribe. And I don't know if she sends out posts of when her shows are, but
yeah, I just posted what I'm doing this week. I might do another video today. I haven't decided. And then Sunday night, I'm on Judy's Healing Fire, and we usually talk politics, astrology.
Okay.
And, you know, I usually do a lot of pre-recorded videos because I have to research stuff. I don't just get on and talk and draw cards, although we do that on Fridays. But, you know, I have to research and get all my whiteboards ready. I love my whiteboards.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for 40 years. I can't help myself. My mission is to educate and have some laughs. So,
Nice.
and I do have my first Oracle card deck here, and this is
cool.
all my own photography, and this one's from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Can you pull one Oracle card? Then we had one question in the chat. When will I get a job, and how does my career look like? So if you could pull that out of your Oracle deck, if we're not.
Okay, I will do that this very moment. And I have 26 of 78 cards done for my new tarot deck.
Good.
So it is a project. But, you know, I was supposed to be a graphic designer. That was supposed to be my career.
I was supposed to be a lawyer.
Well, you know, if I had to do it all over again, I would go back to law school and work for the ACLU, and I would want to prosecute the shit out of people.
Well.
So, time's up.
Dorothy, we're done. Dorothy has to leave.
I'm doing laundry.
All right, time's up. All right.
Okay.
That's so funny. I knew that would happen. Sorry, guys.
When will I get a job, and how does my career look like once I get started? This is from Mousem.
Okay, Mousem. So first of all, you know, oh, this looks good for you, darling. So timing is kind of a relevant thing. So as far as timing goes, I think what's going on right now, and I read my cards right to left. I'm kind of a weirdo reader, and I also combine the cards. I don't say, well, this card means, this card means. I look at the cards and I get a message.
Right.
So this right here, this says ripple effect. So what this tells me, now this is a water fountain outside the Drury Hotel where I was the MC at a conference there. Susan Lynn, psychic medium. If you know Susan Lynn, I was the MC at her conference that came to Santa Fe. So this tells me, Mousem, that there is a ripple effect. You've probably been applying for a lot of jobs, and this is expanding now, all of those job applications. And this is right outside the Basilica, very famous Basilica in downtown Santa Fe, New Mexico. And this is skies clearing. So I think that what's going to happen is all of the work you've been doing, putting out applications, talking to people, networking, which is super important when you're trying to find a job, is the skies are starting to clear, and it's going to open up for you. I'll do one more draw here, but look what I got for you there. Victory and strength. These are beautiful fresh flowers, from the farmers market, which is one of the best farmers markets on the planet, I think, in Santa Fe. So I'm going to pull one more card. Okay, so I don't know what kind of a job you're looking for. Are you looking for a management job or something that you can work independently? Because this is the card I got as your clarifier for the situation. So this is absolute sovereignty. This is a life-size brass cougar on Canyon Road in Santa Fe. I do have permission to use a picture of this. I got all the artists' permission to use any photography of their work. Nice. So I do want to know, Mouse, I'm not looking in the chat because I want to pay attention to what I'm talking about.
Let's see where we are live. See if she's.
I don't see a response yet.
I don't see a response.
So yeah. I would say that all the work that you have been doing, putting applications out there, it's going to start to pay off fairly soon. And this tells me that it's some sort of a job that they're not going to be monitoring you every 10 seconds, or it's a management position you're looking for.
Yeah. So, with the new moon coming up on June 14th in Gemini, that's always really good timing for getting good news, even though you might not get it on Sunday, the 14th, just after that new moon is good opportunities to get new information. Yeah.
I had to laugh when you said, Dorothy, that Venus was conjunct Jupiter, August 12th of 2025.
Yeah.
That's the day I started my YouTube channel.
Oh, no way.
Ooh.
That's
Sun
nice.
and Leo. Oh, yes.
Nice.
Because I want a happy channel.
From what I pulled a card for you. And this is you. You're out there. You're the Page of Swords. You're spreading your word. Your word's getting through. You can be, when you have the Page of Swords, it means you're not charging in like the Knight of Swords and you're not waiting for it all to come to you. But I think that's I always view all the swords cards as positive because I'm the Queen of Swords. Yes.
And you are.
One of the things I love about the swords is they said the Page of Swords and the Queen of Swords, we go around sticking our sword in everybody's bag of BS. So
I don't know how to take that.
Now, since we're talking about swords, I'm going to give you guys a little preview here if I can pull it up quickly. Now, why are you the Queen of Swords, Nancy Jean?
Because I had a tarot deck that I used to read from when I was in my 30s and 40s, and her hair color and everything was exactly like mine. Her face looked like me. And because I think I've been through a whole lot to get to where I am, and that was before I started this life. And I'm just really good at just cutting through the crap. I'm really blunt. I'm not going to nurture you like the Queen of Cups and that kind of stuff. I do know how to nurture people, and I understand how important that is. But
with your Cancer moon, you're going to want to nurture. It makes you feel better, but you're also going to say it like it is, which I always appreciate that. It's the people that, dabble around because they don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm like, you hurt people's feelings more when you dabble around and don't say it like it is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Somebody said she cuts right to it. That's what she says. Okay, which one's that?
This is the Ace of Swords. I'm trying to get it to a spot where you can see it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty.
Pretty.
Yeah, these are, it's a super intense project because I'm very, get out of here. I'm very, very Rider-Waite-ish is how I like to read from Rider-Waite. So when you get into these cards, I'm trying to make sure all the symbology pulls out everything from Rider-Waite. Because so you can look at it and you can say, all right, so they're the drops of gold coming off the crown in the Ace of Swords. It's there. The olive branch is there. And what's fun in this card is the ferns that are on there, because there's two branches coming down off of the crown on the Ace of Swords. The ferns in the picture are resurrection ferns. And there's a whole big story from the graveyards in New Orleans about the resurrection ferns and the way they, intern's probably not the right term. I'm using the wrong terms. But so, yeah, every single card has a massive amount of meaning from every image, and they're superimposed on each other. And it's quite a project. It's
Okay.
fun. I like it.
I want you to know, Suzanne Barr, we just picked the one person because that question had been there since the very beginning. If you come back next Tuesday, I'll be doing open mic and I'll do the mediumship practice. My title for the show was an astrologer, a reader, and an energy worker walked into an open mic room.
That's perfect. And I gotta go. I got a client.
Her laundry's going.
And I gotta go. And Sabrina, and thank you both for coming. And I'm glad we all got together.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Dottie.